One must choose a language. Please do not stay in the default of. Buenas tardes. Estamos ofreciendo interpretación simultánea al español durante esta reunión. Si desea escuchar la interpretación en español, haga clic en el botón Interpretation o Interpretación en la parte inferior derecha de la pantalla Zoom. Verá un icono de globo terráqueo. Si se está uniendo a través de la aplicación Zoom para smartphone, seleccione su idioma haciendo clic en More o Más o en los 3 puntos en la esquina inferior derecha de la pantalla. Seleccione Language Interpretation o Interpretación del idioma, luego elija Spanish y haga clic en Done o Listo. Si desea escuchar solo al intérprete y no a los oradores originales, asegúrese de hacer clic en Mute Original Audio, silenciar audio original. Todos deben elegir un idioma. Por favor, no se quede en la posición de apagado predeterminada. Gracias.
No, where do we do that on? Oh, interpretation. The globe in the bottom? Okay, got it. Yeah, okay.
Well, looking at the clock, it's 5:02, and so I wanted to get this started in honor of everyone's time. I'm Dr. Shredder. I'm the Albert Einstein Academy superintendent, and I wanted to welcome folks to what is going to be a really exciting next hour or so. Before I pass it off to our design team and the folks from San Diego Unified School District, I think it's worth mentioning that what we're going to talk about today is the culmination of more than 2 decades of a dream at Albert Einstein Academies in terms of having a high school facility that is worthy of our future high school students who are the current elementary and middle school students at Albert Einstein Academies. For the past year, the Einstein High School Working Group has worked on the curricular programming side of what will be the future high school. And in tandem with that, we have a very capable design group, the DLR group. Young and Buddy are on the call, and I can't see everybody on here, but Dion Harrington, Dana Peterson from San Diego Unified School District, and others. This really represents a collaboration between the charter school organization, San Diego Unified School District, taxpayer monies from Measure YY and Proposition Z and Measure U. I know those are a lot of letters, but basically voter approved facilities bonds for the past 10 years or so in San Diego. So really the generosity and the forward thinking nature of local taxpayers. And this all leads forward to what will be a state-of-the-art high school building in about 2.5 years to open its doors in fall 2026, if everything goes according to plan. So the purpose of today is to have the experts walk us through some renderings of what the building may, can, and in some cases will look like, and they'll go over what those caveats are. And it's a chance to dream, and I think we've activated the Q&A portion. And so I think if there's enough time at the end, there'll be some ability to answer some of the questions. So without further ado, I'd like to hand this off to the design team. And if you guys could introduce yourselves and we'll get started.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Shredder. Buddy Gessel, principal, project architect with DLR Group. And we're honored to be able to present the design concept to the group tonight.
Hello, my name is Young Abuencia. I'm another architect with DLR Group, and we're really excited to share the design concept now with school community, and just just share where we're at in this current process. Was the district going to give a few words? Not sure if Mr. Harrington is on currently. Okay, so we'll just proceed, and hopefully if at a later time, if he wants to join in and add a few words later on, we can do that. Okay. Let me just share my screen. So today we'll be sharing with you just our schematic design for the high school. We're really excited to share all the progress that we've made in collaboration, as Dr. Sharetta said, with the Albert Einstein Academy's high school working group and their teachers and administrators and the district. And, you know, just to, for those of you that might not be familiar with the site, I'm sure many of you are, but just so you understand a little bit of where we're starting with, we are beginning with a 6-story existing concrete hospital building that was originally built in the 70s, the early 70s, and is no longer used as a hospital building. Probably many of you are familiar with the middle school just right next door. So this building is conveniently located just south of that building, and kind of is located on the corner of 26th and J Street. And you can kind of see it in all of its existing splendor right here on Google Maps. And what we'll be doing is converting this existing 6-story concrete structure and into a brand new high school. We'll be adaptively reusing the structure, but gutting out all the current old existing systems and internal walls, and just really taking it down to the concrete structure and building out a new facility within and bringing it up to 2022 code, building code, including a full structural rehabilitation. So really the goal of all this hard work is to give you a brand new school when we're done. So I'll just be talking you through the site design and really the big picture for the overall site plan and the floor plans and the programming that we'd like to fit within the structure, and talk you through the fun renderings that we have at the end. So getting us started, as mentioned, here's your existing middle school. And right south of there is where the new high school will be located. The big picture with you know, the overall site design was to be able to provide a real sense of entry at the main entry points, and to maximize the outdoor spaces and their functions for the new high school. And we're accomplishing this with 2 entry plazas for the entry. So you have an entry on 26th Street with this large plaza, and entry steps up into the school administration up at level 3 on the east side. And then we'll have an entry plaza on the west side as well, which is located just lower down on J Street. And this will allow students to enter at level 1 on the west side and provide access also to the community to some of the functions that are on the lower portions of the building here. Student drop-off would be primarily along J Street, and a little bit of drop-off also along 26th Street to provide ADA drop-off, accessible drop-off in this location. And we'll be incorporating an artificial turf field on this site, right here on the north, with easy access to PE facilities at level 1 within the building here. Really, we wanted to provide a lot of soft outdoor spaces and kind of, you know, really provide a sense that this is a school meant for the community and the families that'll be coming and going from these spaces. Here are just a few diagrams to illustrate where the main entry points are. So at level 1 on level 3 on 26th Street, you'll have the main admin entry. And then lower down along closer to J Street at level 1, we'll also have an entry on the back side on the west side of the building. And this diagram is just to kind of show how we're trying to maximize the use of every single exterior space that we can create for the school. So this large entry plaza that we have on the east side of the school, and another entry plaza on the west side of the school, along with an NPR roof deck. This is where students can eat outside with a great view of the west, and then a teacher's lounge roof deck with the same great view on the west side. And we'll have a roof deck for some exterior classrooms up at level 4. And this will have a great view to the south. And there'll be some, breakout spaces for PE that also transition down to the field along level 1 here, along with a scene shop and outdoor work area for the theater, which will be housed in level 1 of the building. So here I'd like to talk you through some of the programming that's going to be located in the school. Really, the big picture with this diagram is just trying to show you how we came about putting the various programs within this single 6-story structure. We really focused on putting the large community spaces at the entry levels. So the theater and the music rooms are at level 1, where you would enter the building, lower down on the west side, and the administration and the library, which will have some community focus to it, are located at level 3, which has access from the 26th Street side. And most of the classroom buildings and group work the classrooms are located on levels 4, 5, and 6, along with science. And then on level 2, we have an NPR and various other classrooms. One of the other large things that we were trying to accomplish with the planning of this building was, you might notice this feature right here on the west side is we're lovingly calling the beacon. Early on, Albert Einstein Academy shared with us their vision for creating a beacon on the hill. And we have some great renderings of this to show you a little later on. But in this mass right here basically represents the largest intervention to the project, where we're adding on a portion of the building to provide collaboration and really opportunities to bring in daylight into the building and provide a great focal point at the end of this circulation, just to bring students to the view, and then to bring the views and the light inside the building. So I'll talk you through each of the floor plans. This is level 1. You can see that entry plaza that I mentioned earlier off on the west side. And level 1 is dominated by the auditorium, scene shop, and music rooms along on the south end. And on the north, you'll see PE rooms, so PE-oriented rooms. So we have weight room, drama, dance, fitness, cardio, and then boys and girls changing rooms and offices, along with storage. On level 2, this is, you'll see our NPR, which is where most of the students will be enjoying their meals. And with the outdoor NPR roof deck with that view out to the west, along with the full service food prep and servery to service the students on a daily basis, and one culinary classroom. Located on the south side, you'll see a group workroom, computer science rooms, classroom, a digital media arts lab, and a visual arts classroom. On level 3, We have the administrative core right here located with direct entry up to up from 26th Street. So this lobby represents our single point of entry, which will be controlled by reception, and they'll have access to they'll be able to control entry into the building as well as entry once you're within the lobby to the rest of the campus. And then on the same level, for easy public access, we also have our library and media center and our special ed services and rooms. Levels 4 and 5 are very similar. They are mostly classroom spaces with a group workroom. And this is, if you notice on the left-hand side, this is that collaboration space that we're adding to all the levels of the building, levels 2 through 6. And it's really the visual corridor leads to this end where students will have an opportunity to gather and work in small groups and while enjoying this wonderful view and the natural daylight that can filter in on this side. Also, what's something that's unique to level 4 is this opportunity to have classroom roof decks, which will be available for these maker spaces and science classrooms. Level 5 is almost identical with the exception of the roof deck. There's no roof deck on level 5. And level 6 is also very similar, except we have our science labs up on level 6 with additional classrooms and a couple offices in this corner. So that's a quick tour of the program within the 6 levels. And let me show you where it looks like. So the next set of renderings, I'll talk you through the exterior and interior concepts. Really, the big picture with the exterior of the building is to make that old hospital building just disappear. We don't want any sign of that. When we're, really the goal is when the project is complete and built and done, you have a great brand new high school that you can be proud of, and all the design moves are really speaking towards trying to making a bright, welcoming facade that speaks to what Albert Einstein is about. And, we're utilizing some of the school colors down here in the major massing with the reds and hints of blues and yellows, and you'll also notice on the east and west sides what we're calling the beacons. And on both ends of the beacons, these are opportunities to bring daylight into the center of the building and allow views out to the rest of the community. You can see this is the 26th Street entrance into the main admin lobby, and this is J Street going down to the level 1 entrance on this side. Here's a view from street level as you approach the building, same side at 26th Street entry. And here's another view a little further up north on 26th Street as you approach the building. And here's a view inside the lobby. These are all conceptual images, but we're headed down this route. The lobby, we just want to provide a bright, open, inviting space for the community and parents and students to enter and make their way to the rest of the campus. Here's an image of the Library Media Center. The big picture with the Library Media Center was to provide a community-focused and student-focused library that wasn't necessarily a traditional, book stacks upon book stacks library, but a place that there could be some collaborative work, some parent community nights, and just provide some flexible use with this space. And here are some images conceptual images of the corridors above at levels 4, 5, and 6. So there's classrooms located on either side of this hallway. And at the end, you can see that collaboration space that we've added at levels 2 through 6 on the west side of the building. When you walk down there, this is a little bit, this just kind of gives you a taste of what that space is starting to look like. We're still designing all these spaces, but the idea is to take advantage of those western views, the natural daylight, preventing too much glare, but just being able to enjoy that space and provide a unique space from the rest of the buildings. On the west side of the building, you'll notice the beacon is much larger. So this is where you can really appreciate the full 6 stories. Here's that west entry plaza that I mentioned earlier, along with some seating steps and easy access from PE located at level 1 straight out onto the field, the new artificial turf fields. Here is the staff lounge roof deck located looking out west. And then right over here, we have another view of it that you can see a little bit better, but this is our NPR roof deck. And up above here, you'll notice this is where the level 4 classroom roof decks are located on the south side of the building. You have a little bit of a sneak peek into the scene shop yard down here at level 1, and that's outside of the theater. And here's another view of the west just from street level. And you can get a really good sense of scale for that building. Here's a view just from the northwest where you can now start to see the NPR roof deck. The NPR is right beyond right here. And this is where students can come and go from the weight room out into the field for PE. And this location right here is right where students would enter into level 1 to either just enter the building or maybe head towards the theater. If there's an event that's happening, the community can enter through this entrance as well. If you're standing right around here, this is what the view would look like conceptually right now. So this is that NPR roof deck that we mentioned where students can enjoy lunch outside and a little bit of shade. And here's a view straight on from the parking lot. Just another, just straight on shot view of the West Beacon. And the last couple of views we have to share with you are really demonstrating that concept of Albert Einstein as a beacon on the hill. These are conceptual images where we're showing perhaps having the opportunity to project onto the surface at night. This is still being studied and under review, but even without, I'll venture to say, even without this cool added bonus, the beacon reads pretty well. But we also wanted to explore ways that we could really utilize this to its full potential day and night, and provide Albert Einstein the opportunity to shine under any conditions. So that's it for me. I'm delighted to share all this progress with the community and with the school. I hope that you enjoy what you see.
With that, I guess we can open it up to any questions. If I don't see anything in the chat, if there are questions, if you want to post those in the chat, we can go through those.
David, did you do a introduction? I apologize for being late. I'm very sorry for not being here on time. Unfortunately, I didn't have a Zoom link for this meeting, so I was sitting in Google Meets instead.
I did a little intro, Dion. I said that you were going to give a comprehensive presentation of at least 30 minutes. I'm just kidding. We did a little introduction at the front end, Dion. Anything that you can add to this in terms of perspective? I talked a little bit about, the source of the funds, how it's a collaboration between Albert Einstein Academies and San Diego Unified School District. So anything you'd like to add, and perhaps, you're the expert on what these projects look like from where we are now until when the doors open. So have at it.
Yeah, so I would definitely like to add some information to this. Not knowing what was stated before, I put some bullet point notes together for this presentation. And first would like to thank everyone for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this community meeting for Albert Einstein Academies High School. Thanks to the voters of the city of San Diego Unified has been successful in passing 3 bond measures since 2012 that contain an apportionment of funds for charter schools. The goal in working with the charter schools and the Charter School Facility Committee is to renovate or construct new facilities on district property for charter schools. And sometimes this process involves the acquisition of new district-owned property on behalf of the charter. Just to give everybody a little more background, all planning applications and subsequent projects are reviewed by a charter school facility committee made up of 7 members that recommend approval of projects to the San Diego Unified School District Board of Education. As David stated, San Diego Unified has been working in collaboration with Albert Einstein Academies since late 2019 on the project that was presented to you today. A planning grant was awarded, and I'm just going to give everybody a little bit of the background history on this. That a planning grant was awarded by the Charter School Facility Committee and the Board of Education in late 2019 to prepare an initial master plan for a future high school. Then Albert Einstein Academies was approved to expand into high school grades 9 through 12, totaling 800 students in late 2020. The district, Albert Einstein Academy staff and the architect team began the master planning process in early 2021 and completed and presented the project to the charter committee in late August of 2021. San Diego Unified Board of Education approved the project as presented today, or the master planning project, in September of 2021. And let's see, this particular project is funded through Measure YY charter bond funds approved by the City of San Diego voters in 2018. Following the approval of the project, the property acquisition process began in early 22 and concluded around August of 2022. As you've seen, the property is a 6-story concrete building that was originally constructed as a physicians and surgeons hospital next door to the existing middle school on 26th Street. Since that time, the district, Albert Einstein, and the architect team have been working together through the pre-schematic and schematic design processes. And those processes have allowed the team to develop the presentation that you saw today. So with that, I'll turn it back over to any Q&A.
Great, thanks, Dion. There are a few questions in the Q&A. We can just run down those. I think the school will probably have to answer some of these. There are a couple in regards to sports, so we could just start at the top. So CIF sports that are planned.
Yeah, I can answer that. So We are going to be participating in CIF. We haven't yet determined exactly which sports will be offered in our high school. That's one of the tasks of a subset of the high school working group. But we've already contacted CIF as an organization, and we're aware of their timelines and what their requirements are to have sports be authorized by their federation. So we hope to have more information in the fall about specifics on the sports. There was also a question about mascot chosen. Not yet. In fact, we are still in the process of trying to delineate our mascot details between our elementary and middle school campuses. That's a long conversation, longer than today. And so that has not yet been settled. I can answer, I think, with the help of the design team, the tunnel corridor question. Originally, a little bit of history. These two buildings, the building that is currently houses our middle school and the future high school building, used to be attached. And when we purchased and renovated the building for our middle school, we disconnected the buildings due to code requirements. And originally, our hope was we'd be able to reconnect the buildings once the high school project was built. However, we learned that because the buildings will be subject to different zoning and code requirements, one of the projects, the middle school went through a City of San Diego permitting process. The high school will go through a state architect process, which is through the state of California in Sacramento. Because the two buildings have different, they're at different standards, so to speak. And again, I'm kind of getting outside of my pay grade here with this answer, but long story short, we will not have a corridor open between the two buildings. There are some doorways that'll be able to lead and facilitate staff to move quickly between the two buildings, but there won't be a wide open corridor. That's not possible with the zoning. There's another question about sports that I already answered. Let's see, we've got, sorry, the questions keep popping up here. How many students? We already covered that. There'll be 800 students who will occupy the building gradually, 200 additional students per year over a period of 4 years. Languages, which languages are you going to teach in the high school? There'll be Spanish, there'll be German, and we are considering additional languages at this point. Do we have any renderings that show the outdoor spaces? I don't know if we're yet at that granular detail. Are we, buddy?
But we'll have some more renderings. There is a field, Young, maybe you want to go over the dimensions of the field, but there is an artificial turf field that is planned, and it'll at minimum will be sized for a soccer, indoor soccer size, right? 50 foot by, what is it, Young?
110.
110.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some additional overflow space adjacent to that, but there is a field area on campus.
Let's see. I know there was a question about public transit, bike racks. I think the plan is to incorporate bike racks. There's also electric vehicle charging components, I think a little bit farther down the road, that are requirements of projects now in California. Access to public transit. We're close to Transit Hub, just a few blocks down on Imperial. I'm not sure exactly what the details of that question were. We already see folks wanting to apply for teacher positions or to refer people. As we get a little bit closer, we will be sending out messaging to the community. We will go through our normal platforms of EdJoin and Indeed when we get closer, but we'll very likely have a more comprehensive communication to the community on that. In terms of parking, There are, I'm going to misspeak on the number of spots, but yes, there are additional, there's a big parking lot west of the building, and then there's also additional across the alley, but perhaps Young can speak to that.
The parking will be approximately like a little like between 45 and 50 spots. And there will not be any across the alley, but in that large parking space on the west of the building, there'll be about 45 to 50 spots.
And we'll try to maximize and squeeze as many spots on site as we can. That's the goal. We know it's at a premium.
For sure.
Sorry, I misspoke about across the alley. That's actually where I think trash bins are going to go. We're trying to facilitate the flow of the refuse removal and make that easier on the truck drivers.
Yes, and it'll give you more parking in the actual lot.
And there's a question about any news on the alley property, and I'm not sure exactly what that refers to, but there's a little adjacent spot across the alley, and that will be utilized during the project to try to help with some of the contractors and their parking, and then that's where the trash receptacle will go.
It'll eventually be fenced in.
Fenced in.
Yeah, it'll eventually be fenced in, and it'll house a trash enclosure within there.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's all I see on the questions. Any additional comments from any members of the team? I just wanted to make the comment. First of all, I wanted to thank all the participants for taking the time today. I know your time is valuable, and you have a lot of competing demands for it. I wanted to thank the design team. I wanted to thank the district staff and the Einstein staff who are on here as well. And to underline that the design of this building has been an iterative process that's involved expert practitioners in all the different areas. So it's not as if the design team is sitting in isolation or the working group is sitting in isolation, but rather we've been meeting with, just to give a concrete example, science teachers who've met now several times with the design staff and said, in a perfect world, this is how we would like science classrooms to look. And then that's been baked into the design. Same with, physical education and all the areas, administrators, all up and down throughout the building. So what we have this once in a lifetime opportunity, at least I see it as, this is almost like the Super Bowl, where you get to, you don't get many chances in life to design a building around a program. Usually in the charter world, we move into buildings and we fit ourselves into whatever four walls are already there. This is a very unique opportunity to be able to do the programming curricularly and the design of the building in a joined way and a really powerful way. So I want to thank everybody for your participation and the principles of light in the building and having corridors that are as wide as we can make them, given the constraints of the building. We know that also reduces stress for people. We're really trying to make this as such a welcoming place that students and staff won't want to leave at the end of the day, and really see this as a second home. And as Young mentioned, a beacon on the hill. Okay, I just see, I think that let's just take one more question. Is the project likely to be delayed again? That's probably a good Dion question. Dion, if you're still on here, this is right in your wheelhouse.
I'm here. So our goal is not to have any further delays with this project. However, there are outside sources or extenuating circumstances beyond the district design team and schools control that could delay it in the future, but our goal is to stay on schedule for David. I don't know if you've announced a proposed opening for the high school for the first 200 students, which would be ninth grade or freshman year.
Yeah, fall 26.
That's what we're moving towards.
Yeah, and thank you, Dion, for that. And for folks, and I think the question refers to, originally when the district approved the charter petition, we were aiming at fall 2024. That was approved in the early days of the pandemic, and the world has changed, construction has changed, supply chains have changed dramatically, costs have gone up, many things have changed. So our board approved and San Diego Unified's board approved moving the date forward or moving it back by 2 years. So this gives us time to do it right. And we realize that means that there's, some groups of students who will not be able to take advantage of the building. And we regret that. But I think at the end of the day, this is the right thing for the building, for the process, for the community, and ultimately to do it the right way. And so, fall 2026. We'll matriculate the first group of ninth graders. And we've had a lot of questions about students. Do Einstein students have priority? Yes, they absolutely have priority. They have, just as moving from our 5th grade to our 6th grade, it'll be the same moving from 8th grade to 9th grade within our organization. Great, and I think this is probably a good time, unless there are any additional comments. We will wrap, and wanted to thank everybody for your time. This is being recorded, so we will push this out on the Einstein platforms. And if you know someone who wishes they were here today and they were unable to be here, keep an eye out for communication, and we will send out a link where you can share that with them. I think with that, we'll wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.